Hey, lots of NDA content finally dropped in a public content creator server in China, so now I can speak on a few things. To be honest, I was waiting for this day to come because I have closely been monitoring and viewing all the NDA content, and finally they released it publicly. The huge one I want to go over in this video is the nerf to whales. You guys will probably see many videos among many content creators between now and the China launch on the 17th. Many of you have probably heard from me, but I have said on a few social platforms that whales aren't that much stronger than free-to-play. Comparatively to other recent MMOs, like for example in Crystal Battleland, you are like 10 times plus stronger as a whale pretty much at the first few weeks. And reaching that as a free-to-play wasn't really that easy. Probably about a year to catch up to that damage due to the RNG and some items being unattainable and only available through the cash shop. Anyways, that's a whole different topic, but tying it back into Star Resonance, it was nowhere near that level of pay to win. Everything is obtainable in-game, and the gap between whales and the free-to-play is significantly less. Now, the gap is further reduced with the NDA lifted changes that were revealed. So, the Imagines. You probably heard about them in one of my videos. These things gave some of the highest utility and damage bonuses in the game. The +5 level version of these, which kinda took a while to obtain for a normal player, these gave nearly double the stats of their +0 counterpart. That really sounds like a lot, but really it just depends on the raw stat value, since there are several different gear progressions that diminishes the value of these stats given. For example, this +5 Arona Imagine gave a 25% stat increase back in the April beta, but translates to around 13% damage increase due to diminishing returns on other forms of gear. Now with the new changes, it's a 15% stat increase at +5 or around 8% damage increase. About 40% of its initial power is now gone, while keeping its most important utility the same from +0 all the way to +5. This means that free-to-play can go for a +0 with around a 3% damage increase on top of it and not be that far behind from a whale who has around a 5% damage increase from a +5. I'll show a visual in case that sounded a little confusing. I apologize if it did sound confusing. Feel free to pause the video to see the changes between a free-to-play +0 versus a pay-to-win +5. Another key feature to quickly note is that they nerfed the total amount of materials needed to obtain a +5, making it much cheaper to craft and more accessible for the free-to-play. And pretty much every Imagine is gutted about 40% minimum, with some Imagines being nerfed by up to 75% of their +5 ability. This is a massive change and a much needed one because the dreaded Imagine Gacha is still in the game. I very much hope still that they remove it. I mean, from experience in the game, I know Imagines aren't going to be contributive to that much towards gear progression, so I'm kind of desensitized to it, but just the thought of buying any form of power through RNG is bad for MMO and the global audience in general. Not everyone is going to look through the nitty gritty and learn the damage and utility impacts of having these Imagines. They'll just see swipe equals power and then just call it pay to win slop. I ask that if you have a problem with the Imagine Gacha, and pretty much anyone should, please head over to the Star Resonance official Discord and talk about it in the appropriate feedback channels. There's still NDA I'm still under, but I can loosely mention that our publishing team in Global does look at the feedback channel and sends over some of it to the devs. Don't assume that just because we aren't the main region that our feedback isn't being heard. Besides the Imagines, there were other changes that also closed the gap between the free-to-play and whale, like removing additional stat bonus benefits when upgrading or honing gear, and limiting when specific slots of gear become available to prevent whales from obtaining huge power spikes early on, while also preventing players being overwhelmed and having to worry about too many forms of gear progression all at once. Honestly, there's a lot of positives to the changes that are being publicly revealed. It's really just the Imagine Gacha that's one of the very few negatives, and unfortunately that's what's going to be the main highlight. I just hope even with one negative that you guys at least try the game. I'm going to be honest, I haven't been excited for MMO like this since Lost Ark several years ago. I've played many recent MMOs and none of them really excited me or kept me playing as much as Star Resonance. It doesn't revolutionize a lot of the MMO genre, and it's definitely not perfect, but definitely one worth giving a shot. Soon the global beta will drop and hopefully it's ported well over from the Chinese version, with, you know, the quality of assurance being good and the translation being, well, good enough. We'll see. Anyways, that's all I got for now. I'm thinking of making more YouTube videos before I sink 20 plus hours a day streaming Star Residence to you guys. Not sure yet, but we'll see. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Be sure to like and sub to help small YouTuber out. 4 more days, guys, for Star Residence. Thank you guys, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.